Have you ever walked into a room in your house and forgotten why? Or were you looking for the glasses that were on your head the whole time? Maybe you started telling a story and suddenly lost your train of thought. If this sounds familiar, take a deep breath. No, you are not going crazy. And no, it's not just age catching up. In fact, there is exercise of just 60 seconds that is helping seniors around the world restore their mental clarity, improve concentration, and even recover lost memories. Yes, 60 seconds a day, no gym, no equipment, and you can do it sitting right where you are now. I am the Dr. William Tharnell, a doctor specializing in elderly health, with over 25 years of experience in geriatrics and integrative medicine. And throughout this video, I'll show you how a simple movement, validated by science and used by hundreds of my patients, can make a real difference in your memory and your life. But first, answer me in the comments. Have you felt your memory getting worse in recent years? Share your experience. It might help others realize they're not alone. And if this topic is important to you, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. This way, YouTube understands that this content is relevant and delivers it to more people who also need it. Let's go together on this journey of reconnecting with your mind and memory. For years, I saw patients who came into the office scared, saying, "Doctor, my head isn't the same anymore. Am I starting to lose everything?" And in many cases, what they needed was not a new medicine, but a new stimulus, something simple that would activate regions of the brain that were being neglected in everyday life. This is how, throughout my clinical practice, I began to apply a method that brought together three pillars: light physical movement, neurological activation, and accessible routine. And the results were surprising. People who were forgetting names, repeating stories, and feeling increasingly confused began to notice small improvements within the first few days. And over time, they began to report something even more profound, a feeling of clarity, presence, and autonomy. That's why I'm sharing this exercise today. Not because I read it in some article, but because I've seen it work over and over again on people like you. People who thought it was too late and discovered that there was still a lot to live for. And remember, most people believe that memory loss is normal after a certain age. But here's a truth that few doctors speak clearly about. Brain aging isn't the problem. Inactivity is. After age 60, our brain undergoes natural changes. The production of neurotransmitters decreases, blood circulation in the brain may slow down, and areas responsible for memory and attention become less active. But this does not mean that you are condemned to oblivion. Science today is clear. The brain has something called neuroplasticity, the ability to adapt, create new connections, and even recover lost functions. But there is one important detail. This ability only stays alive if you keep challenging and activating your brain. And that's where the problem begins. Many elderly people enter a sedentary, repetitive routine without mental or motor stimulation. And this creates a silent cycle of brain decay. The good news? Even after 70, 80 years, it is possible to reactivate neurological circuits with small daily stimuli. And the 60-second exercise I'm going to teach you is exactly that. A gentle, but powerful, nudge to get your brain working for you again. Imagine your brain is like a city. Each street, each avenue represents a communication path between neurons. But what keeps this city going is the constant flow of blood, as if it were traffic bringing oxygen and nutrients to every corner. Now imagine what happens when this traffic starts to slow down. Signals slow down. Connections fail. Blackouts begin. This is exactly what happens when cerebral blood circulation decreases. And this is not uncommon. Studies indicate that, after age 60, blood flow to the brain can drop as much as 20% compared to younger adults. Without enough oxygen, areas essential for memory, attention, and reasoning start to work more slowly, as if they were in economy mode. And here's the point that few people know. A simple, well-directed physical movement can increase cerebral blood flow in minutes. That's right, in minutes. That's why the 60-second exercise works. It activates specific areas of the body that stimulate blood flow to the brain. Effortless, impactless, painless, but with a real impact on your mental clarity. When circulation improves, the brain responds. And often, the memory that seemed lost was just waiting for more oxygen. George has always been an active man. An Army veteran, he spent his entire life solving problems, raising children, and keeping his mind sharp. But in recent years, something has started to change. He found himself forgetting simple names. He called his grandson by the dog's name. I would start sentences and I couldn't finish them. The frustration was so great that he began to isolate himself. He said he felt like a burden and that his head was rusting. It was during a casual conversation that I suggested to him a specific, simple, effortless exercise, one that only lasted 60 seconds a day. George was skeptical, but he decided to try. For the first week, he followed the steps every day, right after breakfast. On the 7th day, he walked into the office with a small smile and said, "Today I remembered all my grandchildren's names." Without stumbling, without hesitation. I even told the story of the day each one was born. That was a milestone. Not because George had done something miraculous, but because believed there was still room for improvement, and gave his brain what it needed most: movement, oxygen, and routine. George is not an isolated case. He is an example of what happens when the right stimulus meets the right moment. You might be wondering, how can such a short exercise make such a difference? The answer lies in the way it simultaneously activates 3 systems essential for brain health. Blood circulation, which brings more oxygen to the brain. Vestibular system, responsible for balance and spatial orientation. Motor neural network, which connects movement with memory. The secret lies in the type of movement, the coordination of the sides of the body, and the activation of the neck and upper limbs, regions that, when stimulated correctly, light up areas of the brain linked to language, focus, and information retention. It's as if you were waking up dormant parts of your mind with a simple gesture. And why only 60 seconds? Because for the brain, quality of stimulus matters more than timing. A minute well executed, with attention and intention, is worth more than hours of activities done automatically. This exercise is not just physical. He engages the mind, requires coordination, focus, and balance. And when repeated daily, strengthens the neural circuits involved in memory. You don't need to get up from your chair. No special sneakers needed. All it takes is the will and a minute. And from the next chapter, I will show you how science proves this. In recent years, neuroscience has revealed something surprising. Simple body movements can stimulate areas of the brain associated with memory, language, and reasoning. Researchers at the University of Illinois in the United States found that light coordination exercises, especially those involving crossing movements, such as touching your left knee with your right hand, increase activity in the corpus callosum, the bridge that connects the 2 hemispheres of the brain. This bilateral activation strengthens communication between the areas that control logic and emotions, long-term memory, and focus. In another study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, elderly people who practiced coordination exercises for only 10 minutes daily showed significant improvement in verbal fluency and recall of recent information. And why does this work so well for people over 60? Because the brain, even when older, is still capable of forming new connections. But he needs encouragement, and he needs it urgently. The exercise you will learn shortly was developed based on these principles. It combines gentle yet intentional movements that engage the body and challenge the brain at the same time. It's not magic. It's biology. And your brain, even now, still wants to learn. You can still get stronger. Now that you understand why, it's time to learn Wadas. This 60-second exercise is safe, simple, and can be done seated with your feet flat on the floor. But be careful. Effectiveness is in the details. Step 1. Sit with your spine straight. Feet firmly on the floor, hands on your thighs. Breathe deeply. This prepares your brain for focus. Step 2. Raise your right hand and touch your left knee. While doing this, look slightly to the opposite side, that is, to the right. This slight shift activates balance and spatial orientation. Step 3. Return to the starting position and repeat on the other side. Left hand on right knee, look slightly to the left. Step 4. Do this alternating sides for 60 seconds. It may seem simple at first, but with mindfulness of movement, your brain will be powerfully challenged. Extra tip: count the numbers 1 to 20 out loud while doing the movements. This activates even more areas of the brain responsible for speech and short-term memory. If you ever lose your rhythm, smile. There's no mistake here. Each attempt is already a stimulus. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about repetition. Do this exercise every day, preferably at the same time. It is this commitment to yourself that will transform 1 minute into real results. Many older adults try to improve their memory, but they make common mistakes that hinder any progress. Not for lack of effort, but for lack of guidance. See what the 3 biggest mistakes and how to avoid them. Mistake 1: believing that it's too late. This belief is paralyzing. Neuroscience has already shown that the brain remains moldable even after 80 years. But if you don't believe it, your brain understands that you don't need to try anymore. The solution: change your thinking. Start with the 60-second exercise. One small step breaks that barrier. Mistake 2: focusing only on crosswords or memory games. These activities have value, yes, but they are limited. They work on a specific area of the mind and leave other important areas completely inactive. The brain needs physical, visual, auditory, and motor stimulation at the same time. That's why exercises like the one you learned work best. They activate multiple brain regions at once. Mistake 3: expecting results without creating a routine. Doing an exercise one day and forgetting the next doesn't give results. Memory is like a muscle, and muscle only responds to consistency. That's why we insist 60 seconds a day. Every day. No skipping. No excuses. Correcting these mistakes could be the turning point between continuing to forget or finally feel your mind active and present again. You have already learned the exercise. Now the real secret is to make this part of your routine without relying on willpower every day. The brain loves patterns. It adapts more easily when there is repetition at the same time, same place, same sequence. Here's how to turn this 60-second exercise into a solid habit. 1. Choose a fixed trigger. Associate exercise with something you already do every day. For example, right after brushing your teeth in the morning, after coffee, before turning on the TV. This trigger is the natural reminder that activates the new behavior. 2. Prepare the environment. Leave a separate chair with space around it, always in the same place. Visually, this reinforces the memory that this is the place for exercise. 3. Mark your calendar and celebrate. Each day you do it, mark an X. After 7 days, celebrate. Yes, celebrate. This reward, however small, positively reinforces the new habit. Be kind to yourself. If you forget one day, that's okay. Start over the next day. What matters is consistency over time, not perfection. Before long, your brain will start to look forward to this moment. And when that happens, you will have achieved something valuable. A daily commitment to your mental health. Mary, 68 years old, retired, grandmother of 4 grandchildren. She had always been very active, but she began to feel that something was wrong. I would forget where I kept my keys, I would leave the stove on, and sometimes, in the middle of a conversation, I would just freeze. When he heard about the 60-second exercise, his first reaction was distrust. How is something so simple going to change anything? She asked me. But he decided to try. The first week, I felt like I was just stretching. On Monday, he noticed he was more alert during the day. And on the 3rd, something surprising happened. During a family lunch, Mary told a story from her daughter's childhood in such detail, dates, smells, songs, that everyone fell silent. The 10-year-old granddaughter said, "Grandma, how do you remember all this?" Mary cried, because she thought that I would never live that kind of memory again. But there she was, present, connected, alive. She didn't use any medicine, didn't spend any money, didn't go to the neurologist. She simply followed a daily 60-second routine and had the courage to believe that improvement was still possible. And perhaps, like Mary, you just need to take the first step. The 60-second exercise is a great starting point. But if you want to go beyond, there are simple attitudes that can multiply your results. Here are 3 actions that, when combined with exercise, further accelerate memory recovery. 1. Drink more water. Dehydration is one of the silent causes of mental confusion in the elderly. The brain is made up of about 75% water, and when it's lacking, the mind becomes slower and more forgetful. Keep a bottle visible. And remember, even if you're not thirsty, your body needs hydration. 2. Get quality sleep. Sleep is the time when the brain organizes and fixes memories. Even if you sleep 8 hours, if your sleep is light or interrupted, your memory suffers. Avoid screens before bed, keep your bedroom dark, and create a nighttime relaxation ritual. 3. Eat with your brain in mind. Foods rich in omega-3, such as salmon, sardines, and walnuts, promote brain health. Dark green vegetables, olive oil, eggs, and berries are also on this list. Avoid excess sugar. It inflames the brain and worsens concentration. Remember, the mind is a reflection of the body. The more careful you are with what goes in and what happens inside you, the more clarity, focus, and memory you gain. Your brain is like a garden. If you water it, nourish it, and care for it, it blooms. It's normal to forget a name or a word every now and then. But there are warning signs that should not be ignored. If you or someone close to you has one or more of the symptoms below, it is essential to seek medical attention urgently. Forgetfulness that affects simple everyday tasks, like making coffee, taking a shower, or getting dressed. Difficulty recognizing people nearby, such as children or spouses. Disorientation in time or space, like getting lost in familiar places or forgetting what day it is. Sudden changes in behavior or personality, such as unfounded irritation, apathy, or exaggerated distrust. Constant repetition of the same questions or phrase in a short space of time. These symptoms may indicate the onset of conditions such as dementia, Alzheimer's, or cerebrovascular problems. And the sooner they are investigated, the greater the chances of controlling the advance. The purpose of this video is to offer you simple and effective tools. But it's also a reminder, taking care of your memory is a serious matter. If something worries you, don't wait. Talk to a professional. Sometimes a quick assessment can save years of suffering. Remember, prevention is always better than cure. If you've come this far, it's because something inside you still believes. Believe that it is possible to improve, that time has not defeated you, and that your memory, however flawed it may be, still deserves care. And you are right. The decision to take care of your mind is one of the most profound forms of self-respect. Over the past few decades, I've served thousands of people who started out just like you. Full of doubts, fears, some even disbelievers. But what made the difference in their lives was not a miracle, nor a magic pill. It was the daily choice to do something for themselves. The 60-second exercise is just the beginning. But it represents something much bigger, your reconquest. The regaining of clarity, of presence, from the connection with those you love and the memories that shaped who you are. And now, more than ever, I ask you, don't keep it to yourself. Maybe you know someone who, right now, is suffering in silence, forgetting important things, feeling alone, ashamed, thinking you're the only one in this situation, or worse, believing you're done. It is not. Share this video. Send it to your children, your siblings, your hiking buddies, your church group, the neighbor who always greets you with a smile but has been distant. You can be the bridge between suffering and solution for someone. You can bait a hope that was missing. And before I close, I want to leave one last reminder, perhaps the most important of all. Memory is not just in the brain. She is in the body that moves, in the heart that feels, in the eyes that are moved when seeing a beloved face again, or when remembering a simple moment from childhood. Taking care of your mind is taking care of your life. And you deserve to live fully, with dignity, with lucidity. So, keep going. Do the exercise every day. Well, get quality sleep. Surround yourself with people and experiences that nourish your soul. And remember, I'm Dr. William Tharnell. It's been an honor to accompany you here. See you in the next video. And until then, take care of yourself, because no one else can live your life for you.